This video is about helping you not make the same mistakes I used to make when I was first designing kitchens. These are 5 areas that I messed up all the time. If you want to talk with me one-on-one for a personal consultation about your kitchen, check the link in the description below. It should not come as a shocker that I do not like corner cabinets. If you've followed me for any length of time, you've probably heard me say that. However, in the early days of my designing career, I would add corner cabinets to every kitchen I could. Some even without Lazy Susans or any means of accessing that deep, dark crevasse of a cabinet. Crevasse? I don't know. I do wish I had been challenged on how to think about corner cabinets and solutions earlier on. Is it a mistake to put a corner cabinet with a Lazy Susan in my kitchen? Well, no, it's not a mistake, but yes, it could be a mistake. It comes down to what is the best solution for your corners in your kitchen, not just adding whatever it is the designer threw in there. And this designer just used to throw in corner cabinets with the Lazy Susans. The intention was to make it accessible, but it wasn't always that way. Lazy Susans back in the day were horrible for things falling off them, breaking, having to dig in around the shelf and the mechanism to get at the stuff that fell off. It was a real nuisance for people. And honestly, they haven't gotten that much better over time. But there's other solutions that you should be looking at for your corners, such as corner drawers or 45 corner drawers. If you have a blind corner, making sure it has some kind of really nice pull-out mechanism, like a Magic Corner or a Le Mans. It wasn't until quite a few years later that I began to block off corner cabinets. And I do get challenged on this, and it's not always the best solution, but it is a great solution if you want to maximize parts of that corner space that otherwise get neglected and block off the most inaccessible part of the corner cabinet. My motto for corners in the kitchen is simple: block it off. I have lots of content on corner cabinet solutions, and I'll link in the description of this video so you can check that out. The main takeaway here is don't make the mistake of just neglecting the corner. Really think through how you want the corner to operate so it can be as functional as possible in your kitchen. Microwaves. Oh, I just love the microwave. I don't know too many people without a microwave. In fact, I can't even think of one person that I know personally that doesn't have a microwave. They're everywhere. It's like we're conditioned to need a microwave in our modern kitchen. I mean, seriously, how else am I going to eat popcorn or have leftovers? Microwave placement in the early days of my career was another thing that I sort of just did blindly. And the microwave basically went in one place. And you guessed it, over the range. I know, right? Isn't that crazy to hear me say that I used to put over-the-range microwaves in just about every kitchen that I designed? It was just the thing that we did. I grew up in the era where over-the-range microwaves became really popular. And us designers were throwing them in every kitchen. Much to the chagrin of my future self, that's just the way it was. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with an over-the-range microwave. I mean, I don't like them and I would never recommend you putting one in. However, that's just my opinion and the way I look at it. If you have an over-the-range microwave, don't worry about it. But if you're planning a kitchen renovation, really purposefully think through where the microwave should be placed in your kitchen. Don't just let a designer throw it over the range. It might not be the best location for you. For one, it's pretty high in an awkward space. It's combining 2 appliances in one, which sounds like a great idea until one of them breaks. And then that becomes another set of issues. Oftentimes, they don't get ventilated properly because they're put on an inside wall. Microwaves should be placed at the best location for you. In my opinion, that's countertop height. But some people don't want to put it on a countertop because it takes up space. I understand that. You can put them in base cabinets. You can get pull-out drawer microwaves. You can build them into a pantry, combine them over a single oven. You can put them in a wall shelf unit that's lowered. You can put them over the range. Gosh, you can put them on the ceiling if you wanted to. My prediction is that microwaves will eventually fade out in the next 10 years. Now, I could be wrong. I thought Facebook would fade out in the first 5. But anyway, I think microwaves in the kitchen are going to fade out. Mark me down as saying that. Mark says microwaves are a thing of the past. That's the headline on the news. But until then, it's important that you really think through where the microwave should be placed and don't allow it to be put somewhere that's not functional for you. I have a motto for microwaves. It goes something like this: don't design your kitchen around your microwave. Let me explain that a little bit. I've had clients in the past who just could not figure out where to put their microwave. Everything revolved around it. It's a microwave. It's not that important. is it? One of the vertices of the kitchen triangle, a very important part of kitchen trigonometry, is the refrigerator. When I first started designing kitchens, I would bury the refrigerator within the kitchen workflow because I really wanted to make sure that I obeyed the laws of kitchen triangle economics. There had to be proper workflow within the triangle. It was just the thing that we did. There's nothing wrong with this, of course. The refrigerator should be in a place that is accessible and easy to work with the rest of the appliances. However, there's certain people in your home you might not want using the stove. You might not want them using the microwave, but likely they're allowed to use the fridge. And for that reason, the fridge should be placed in the most convenient location for everybody. I don't have a motto for refrigerators, but I'll come up with one on the spot, which is, the refrigerator is easy to use. So don't make it hard to get at. I just came up with that, honestly. And if this means removing the fridge from the confines of the comfortable kitchen triangle, then so be it. Now, I'm not saying we place it in another room somewhere like some people suggest. I'm only saying that everyone in the house should access it easily. This means that the refrigerator should be placed in such a manner that traffic flow to the fridge should not interrupt the workflow of the cook. And if you have lots of people in your home, especially teenagers like us, there's always traffic flow to the refrigerator. I mean, always. They just can't stay out of the freaking thing. It's like nonstop to the refrigerator. Like, slow down, guys. Anyway, when I think about designing kitchens in the early 2000s, I get goosebumps. Do you know that we were still installing base cabinets with just shelves in them back in the early 2000s? Shelves. Like, not pull-outs, shelves. What? It was like after Y2K, you know, when the world was supposed to end. And we're still putting shelves in base cabinets. Forget accessibility. Let's just have folks down on their hands and knees digging in for a lost can of beans on that half shelf in their 15-inch wide base cabinet. That sounds like a treat. Accessibility is a major thing I used to mess up. Seriously, when you are planning a renovation of your kitchen or building a new home with a kitchen, obviously, it is important to think through the inner workings of every single cabinet. What is going to be stored there? How is it going to be accessed? What can we put in it potentially to make it easier to use? I have a motto when it comes to adding accessories, and it goes like this. If you're unsure what to put in a base cabinet, put a drawer in it. I mean, it's really that simple. Add a drawer wherever you can until a drawer doesn't make sense, and then add whatever makes sense in that cabinet. Very rarely will I want to leave a cabinet as just a big empty cube without any way of accessing that. Because kitchens should be functional, and to be functional, you have to reach it and not be bending in and being all contorted. So thank goodness it's not the early 2000s, but don't make the mistake now in your future kitchen renovation. Function is not functional unless you can see what's functioning. What? I just wrote that. Function is not functional until you can see what's functioning. Lighting was such an area of neglect in my early days. I just left it up to the homeowner. But I've learned my lesson. Definitely one of the biggest areas that I had to improve in, and that was designing lighting specifications for a kitchen. I'm not an electrician, but I do know that you need to see what you're doing. And there's so many options for lighting that were without excuse. Planning sufficient lighting is absolutely essential for a great outcome in your kitchen renovation. I have a motto for lighting as well. It goes like this. You don't have to turn it on, but if it's not there, you can never turn it on. It's a pretty good motto. And it just means, listen, if you want to cut your carrots in the dark, by all means. But that's not going to be on me, because I recommended that you put under cabinet lighting and ambient lighting and toe kick lighting and under the ridge of your countertop lighting and inner cabinet lighting and drawer lighting and just lights, lights, lights. Because you don't have to turn them on. And don't forget natural lights when it comes to this, thinking about bigger windows or skylights. But windows really, I think if you're building a new home, prioritize having bigger windows in your kitchen as opposed to cramming it all in with wall cabinets. There's other ways to store things that can go in a wall cabinet, but you'll really appreciate having a large window when you are working in that kitchen. Hopefully you can learn from these 5 areas in your kitchen and not make the same mistakes I made. I have this great video that I made just for you to help you create a very functional kitchen that you should watch next. See you soon.